All right, fifth graders, I'm going to read out loud from Percy Jackson. This is optional if you want to listen in. But for those of you that do want to listen and you like our book so far this year, this is something that you can listen to. So we're reading Percy Jackson in The Lightning Thief, and I pulled up this picture just as background for this reading, and it's of their game, Capture the Flag. This is a picture from the movie, so those of you that have seen the movie, this might look a little bit familiar. And so I just wanted you guys to have kind of a visual to look at because we're at the part where Percy is going to finally play Capture the Flag with all the other Half-Bloods, and I'm excited to see how he does. So I'm going to go ahead and begin. It says, that night after dinner, sorry, I'm losing my spot really quick. Okay, here we go. That night after dinner, there was a lot more excitement than usual. At last, it was time for Capture the Flag. When the plates were cleared away, the conch horn sounded and we all stood at our tables. Campers yelled and cheered as Annabeth and two of her siblings ran into the pavilion carrying a silk banner. It was about 10 feet long, glistening gray, with a painting of a barn owl above an olive tree. From the opposite side of the pavilion, Clarice and her buddies ran in with another banner of identical size, but gaudy red, painted with a bloody spear and a boar's head. I turned to Luke and yelled over the noise, "Those are the flags?" "Yeah." "Ares and Athena always lead the teams?" "Not always," he said, "but often." "So if another captain captures one, what do you do? Repaint the flag?" He grinned. "You'll see. First we have to get one." "Whose side are we on?" He gave me a sly look as if he knew something I didn't. The scar on his face made him look almost evil in the torchlight. "We've made a temporary alliance with Athena. Tonight we get the flag from Ares, and you are going to help." The teams were announced. Athena had made an alliance with Apollo and Hermes, the two biggest cabins. Apparently privileges had been traded, shower times, chore schedules, and the best slot for activities in order to win support. Ares had allied themselves with everybody else, Dionysus, Demeter, Aphrodite, and Hephaestus. From what I'd seen, Dionysus' kids were actually good athletes, but there are only two of them. Demeter's kids had the edge with nature skills and outdoor stuff, but they weren't very aggressive. Aphrodite's sons and daughters I wasn't too worried about. They mostly sat out every activity and checked the reflections in the lake and did their hair and gossiped. Hephaestus' kids weren't pretty, and there were only 4 of them, but they were big and burly from working in the metal shop all day. They might be a problem. That, of course, left Ares' cabin, a dozen of the biggest, ugliest, meanest kids on Long Island or anywhere else on the planet. Chiron hammered his foot on the marble. "Heroes," he announced, "you know the rules. The creek is the boundary line. The entire forest is fair game. All magic items are allowed. The banner must be prominently displayed and have no more than 2 guards. Prisoners may be disarmed, but not bound or gagged. No killing or maiming is allowed. I will serve as referee and battlefield medic. Arm yourselves." He spread his hands, and the tables were suddenly covered with equipment, helmets, bronze swords, spears, oxhide shields coated in metal. "Whoa," I said. "We're really supposed to use these?" Luke looked at me as if I were crazy. "Unless you want to get skewered by your friends in cabin 5, here." Chiron thought these would fit. "You'll be on border patrol." My shield was the size of an NBA backboard with a big caduceus in the middle. It weighed about 1,000,000 pounds. I could have snowboarded on it fine, but I hope no one seriously expected me to run fast carrying that thing. My helmet, like all the helmets on Athena's side, had a blue horsehair plume on top. Ares and their allies had red plumes. Annabeth yelled, "Blue team, forward!" We cheered and shook our swords and followed her down the path to the south woods. The red team yelled taunts at us as they headed off toward the north. I managed to catch up with Annabeth without tripping over my equipment. "Hey." She kept marching. "So, what's the plan?" I asked. "Got any magic items you can loan me?" Her hand drifted toward her pocket, as if she were afraid I'd stolen something. "Just watch Clarice's spear," she said. "You don't want that thing touching you. Otherwise, don't worry. We'll take the banner from Ares. Has Luke given you your job?" "Border patrol, whatever that means." "It's easy. Stand by the creek. Keep the Reds away. Leave the rest to me. Athena always has a plan." She pushed ahead, leaving me in the dust. "Okay," I mumbled. "Glad you want to be on your team." It was a warm, sticky night. The woods were dark, with fireflies popping in and out of view. Annabeth stationed me next to a little creek that gurgled over some rocks. Then she and the rest of the team scattered into the trees. Standing there alone with my big blue feathered helmet and my huge shield, I felt like an idiot. The bronze sword, like all the swords I had tried so far, seemed balanced wrong. The leather grip pulled on my hand like a bowling ball. There was no way anybody would actually attack me, would they? I mean, Olympus had to have liability issues, am I right? Far away, the horn blew. I heard the whoops and yells in the woods and the clanking of metal, kids fighting. An ally from Apollo raced past me like a deer, leaped through the creek, and disappeared into enemy territory. Great, I thought. I'll miss all the fun, as usual. Then I heard a sound that sent a chill up my spine, a low canine growl somewhere close by. I raised my shield instinctively. I had the feeling something was stalking me. Then the growling stopped. I felt the presence retreating. On the other side of the creek, the underbrush exploded. 5 Ares warriors came yelling and screaming out of the dark. Cream the punk, Clarice screamed. We're going to stop there, so you'll have to wait till tomorrow to see if we can find out what that growling was and who wins. I got a little creeped out when I was reading that part. I'm not going to lie, I'm reading it, and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of a scary part. So that was a good part of Percy Jackson. Hope you enjoyed.